Welcome to my channel. As we have already completed the part called President, and also we have talked about the Lok Sabha, and especially the title of these chapters we have already mentioned in my previous chapter. That is the chapter is called Parliamentary Government. So we are discussing about the parliamentary government, and under this government we have the some of the basic topics, which is also part of this discussion. So here we will be talking about the systems of government in India, and then Indian Parliament constituents, then power functions, and lawmaking procedures in India. So these are the few topics that is actually related with these chapters. Now we have already completed the part called Lok Sabha, and you have learned about the how this Lok Sabha criteria is actually followed, and then the different MLAs and MPs are actually appointed either directly or indirectly. So you have also gone through about the terms and conditions about these members. Okay, today in the second part we will be talking about the another part called that is the Rajya Sabha, which is also known as the upper house. So this particular upper house or the Rajya Sabha is actually very another important part for this video. Now you have to know that Rajya Sabha actually represents the interests of the states and union territories of India. So you have to know the first of all that Rajya Sabha represents the interest of the states and union territories of India. Thus, it is also called the Council of States. Okay, so this Rajya Sabha is also known as the Council of States. Then the maximum strength of the Rajya Sabha, in fact, we have especially 250. The maximum number that is actually required for the Rajya Sabha is 250 members by the Constitution of India, and out of this, 238 members represent the states and union territories, while 12 members are actually nominated by the President of India from among the distinguished people in the fields of art, literature, social service, science, all these areas. Actually, we have got the members from these different departments, which is appointed by the President of India. So now the sessions of this Rajya Sabha are actually presided over by the Vice President. You have to understand the one who is a speaker in the Lok Sabha. We have seen that from the party, from the ruling party itself, a member is selected for the speaker. But here we have the Vice President of India, who is the actually especially presiding over the meetings or the session. He or she actually is known as the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So there is the ex officio chairman. So let us know about the eligibility criteria about this Rajya Sabha members, how actually they are actually appointed, and what type of like a criteria they are followed. That is we have to understand now through this paragraph. Now see the eligibility criteria of this Rajya Sabha, especially a person who wants to become the members of this Rajya Sabha, then some of the procedures are actually same. Only here the age is different. In the Lok Sabha we have found that a member who is wants to be the Lok Sabha members, then his age should be like a 25, whereas in this Rajya Sabha is 30. So is a little bit difference is there. Here is a 30 years of the age is actually required for the Rajya Sabha members. Now the members of this Rajya Sabha actually are indirectly elected. Now we have seen that Lok Sabha is actually directly elected from the different constituencies, and then they are actually representing the state or maybe the constituencies. So here Rajya Sabha members are actually indirectly appointed, so they are not elected by the people of this country. So now here you can see that they are elected by the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the states and union territories as prescribed by the Constitution of India. So it means this how this particular house actually had the procedure. It is actually given a kind of like a guideline from the Constitution of India. So that's why it is that way actually followed. Now let us know about the terms and conditions of this Rajya Sabha members. Now in this Rajya Sabha members, the Rajya Sabha is not like subject to dissolution. Thus it is a permanent body. So it is not dissolved by like 5 years and then another form of the government will come in power. Then there will be a something like a continue. the next government will come. But here the members are actually continue. They can continue, and every 2 years or 3 years, some members are actually getting retired, or some are getting ill, or someone is dying, or someone is resigning. So such kind of things are occurring. So here every now and then some sort of like a filling up is done. So it may say one third of its members actually retire every second year and replaced by new members, and each member of the Rajya Sabha enjoys a term of 6 years. So it may say Lok Sabha is 5 years and Rajya Sabha is 6 years. So these are the terms and conditions that we have got in this department, especially Rajya Sabha. So let's now know about the powers and functions of the parliament. Now, what exactly the parliament actually playing a role in this country, and why this department especially have the big role to play for the betterment of the country, for the upliftment of the country. So let's know here. So the Indian Parliament especially enjoys legislative, executive, financial, judicial, and constituent powers. So here you can find that Parliament has got the responsibility, or rather it is enjoying this few that is actually mentioned right now is a very important part of this Parliament. Now, first of all, let us know about the legislative powers. We have seen in the state and all how this legislative assemblies are actually conducted. So here, legislative powers, how it is actually enjoyed. So the Indian Parliament Indian Parliament legislates on the subjects contained in the Union List. Union List you must know from the central. So and concurrent list along with the residuary subjects. In order to legislate, a bill is first introduced in the Parliament. Now, for example, topic related with the states, and also the state and also the center. So if the topic is actually very much matching, and then which is really required for the some kind of like a amendment or changes, then such kind of topics are actually selected for the discussion, for the debate, and then the majority members, if they are actually agree, then that can be the agreed by the members of this Lok Sabha, and then it will be passed to the Rajya Sabha. And in the Rajya Sabha, so if the procedure followed and it happened, it agreed by everyone, then that bill will be passed to the President of India, and then the President of India will be signing it after having approved it, and then it will become the bill or law. So that is the thing actually follow. So let us know here how this bill in fact first introduced in the Parliament and how it is actually followed. Now see, it can be like a money bill or a non-money bill. Except for money bills, a bill, all bills can be introduced in either house of the Parliament. And after its introduction, what is given here, the bill is actually discussed and deliberated. Once approved by both the houses, it goes to the President of India for his or her assent. It may say consent has to be given. Then, except in case of money bills, if a case of differences of opinions occurs between the two houses, a joint meeting is called and the view of the majority prevails. So here, now this is the law-making body of the center or in the country. Next, we have the executive. After having made the law, how this law is supposed to be practiced, and in this department, who are the people are actually responsible and all, let us know about it. So what is exactly the executive department? Now, India is actually parliamentary democracy, and it means that the Indian Parliament has a control over the functioning of the Council of Ministers, and the members of the Parliament are actually authorized to analyze, ask questions, and criticize the policies and actions taken by the Council of Ministers. And also, if the Council fails to answer satisfactorily to the members, then the Parliament may also pass a non-confident motion against the government, to bring about its immediate dissolution. Then, however, the power to pass a non-confidence motion rests only with the Lok Sabha. Then, financial powers. Every year, the government has to table a budget in the Indian Parliament, and a budget contains the expected income, expenses, and amendments then in the existing taxation rules, as well as the proposals for the new taxes to finance the operations of the government. Then the Indian Parliament discusses especially deliberates and approves the budget table by the government. So that's why in every year, most probably in the month of like April, you know, you can see the some of the budget session are actually presented by the finance minister, and this particular ministers actually mentioning the whole year the budget, and then a new bill also, new budget also they are representing, and they are adding something new, and old one also they are actually either increasing or decreasing. So that is actually done in the parliament. Next we have got judicial and constituent powers. Now what this is judicial? Now, Indian Parliament is authorized to impeach the President and the Vice President of India, and it may also recommend the removal of the judge of the Supreme Court and a High Court, along with the Chief Election Commissioner and other officials. So it may also amend the Constitution of India. So here you can see the if the changes is required, if any kind of like a violent or any kind of like a misuse of the power is done by the President or the Vice President of India, then how they are actually changed. There is some sort of like a procedure is followed, and this particular procedure is actually known as the impeachment. Okay, impeachment act. So this is only meant for the ministers who are actually, especially like a president, vice president, chief justice, high court, and low court, all these areas, whoever is a main head of the like a institution, then they are actually changed. Okay, so let us know about the law making procedure, how this law actually made, or what are the procedure in fact followed in order to make the law for the country, for the citizens of our country. So here law making procedure in fact is initiated with the introduction of a legislative proposal called a bill in the Indian Parliament, and here the journey of a non-money bill to become a law goes through the following stages. So let us know about the first stages, how it is actually done. Now the first stage is actually known as the first reading. And then at this stage, you know, the bill is actually introduced in either of the two houses with the concerned member explaining its objectives. Then it moves to the next stage only if it has been approved by the house. Okay, so that was the first stage. Now second stage is what? Second stage is involves actually a detailed discussion of the bill, and the members discuss the bill close to put forth the positive and negative elements of the bill, and then at this stage, you know, the bill may also be forwarded to a committee to carry out a detailed study on the prospects of the bill, and thereafter a voting session is held in the house to accept or reject the bill. If the bill is accepted, it is sent to the other house. So you have to understand that if the member of the ruling party, if is found more, certainly we know that if the big number of the members are actually found in the house, there is certainly any of the bill, even though minor ministers may object, minor ministers may reject it, but then if the majority members are there, certainly the bill is will pass, and that will be actually going to the other house, especially upper house. So here what is saying that then when the other house receives the bill, it again actually discusses the bill, and the house may approve or recommend certain changes in the bill. So in case some differences emerge between the two houses, a joint session of the two houses is called the decision of the majority prevails. Now sometimes, you know, the bill which is passed from the Lok Sabha, and when it is going to the upper house, especially in the Rajya Sabha, sometimes the bill may not be able to pass, but because, you know, there you won't find the majority members of the Rajya Sabha. So sometimes the bills are actually returning, and then you know, when it is not accepted, or when the members of the Rajya Sabha are rejected, then you know, those bills are actually going back to the again the Lok Sabha, and then there the speaker actually, or the president actually, invites the both the houses members to sit as a joint session, and then again clarify the different objects or the objection that they found on that. They are actually looking for the solution, and then finally they are actually sending it to the houses. and then you know what happens here. So once a bill is actually passed by both the houses, it goes to the President of India for his assent. So it is very clear that both the houses are after giving the approval. The bill is going to the president, and then here what the president actually does. So the president may approve or recommend changes to the bill after having gone through everything. When the bill is approved, it becomes a law. So it may say once the president is giving the signature, then it becomes a law, and then that actually comes to the executive department to and it may say in the executive department those laws are actually practiced, those laws are actually executed in the country, in the state. So if the common people who have been had the problems, or maybe they are refused to obey, then the police and then law and order will be imposing on them the different laws and fines, and then putting them into jail. So that is actually the judicial system also actually works. It means when any law is composed and approved by the president, and when it is executed in the country, then if anyone is violating that law, then certainly that particular for that particular law, certain punishment is made. So basing on that punishment, the person will be getting the person will be approved as guilty, and then will be punished him for maybe either jail or maybe giving the fine money. Okay, so that is we can see in the country. Next we have when the President of India actually recommends certain changes, the House may or may not reconsider the clauses, and if the bill is actually again sent to the President for his assent, the President has to give his or her assent to the bill. It may say, suppose houses are all actually clear, both the houses are actually clear, but the President may not be approving it. Then the President will give the explanation why this particular bill is not that much accepted, or rather it is out of the Constitution's statement. Okay, so that's why. So it may say in case of the money bill, however, it can only be introduced in the Lok Sabha. Once the Lok Sabha approves the bill, it goes to the Rajya Sabha, and the Rajya Sabha may approve or recommend changes within 14 days of the receipt of the bill, and the Lok Sabha may or may not consider the changes recommended by the Rajya Sabha and send the bill to the President for his assent. So the bill is approved once the President provides his or her consent to the same. So here the bills are actually that way actually passed to the President of India, and then if he agrees or if he approves, then it means it becomes a law. So this way the things are actually functioning in the country. So in my next class I will be talking about the another part of this union executive, since this is also part of our this what called like a parliamentary government. Okay. Alright, so see you in the next video.